What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about product photography, but specifically we're going to be talking about one thing that will level up your product photography. And take it from me, I've been doing product photography professionally for the past 6-7 years. It's probably my main source of income, like revenue income. Not to mention, I absolutely love doing product photography. There's something about shooting products that takes you into the world of its own. I've talked about this before on this channel, but I haven't talked about this one little thing that will level up your product photography, and that's this. The 100mm macro. Yeah. Koki Z, no Huckleberry this time, mainly because it's upstairs and I don't want to get it. But okay, product photography. So disclaimer, I'm not actually just talking about the specific lens. Now, this lens is the 100mm macro EF version from Canon, and this is the EF L version. It is the L version, it's just, I've had this for, I wanna say, almost 10 years now, and the actual red ring came off of it, so, but it is the L version. But I'm not talking about this lens in particular. Now, Canon makes a couple of these lenses. They make the 100mm macro EF non-L version, they make the L version, and then they have the RF version. I haven't upgraded to the RF version just yet. Maybe one day. I can't seem to justify it at the moment because I have the EF version and this thing is absolutely amazing. I have no faults with this, but maybe one day we will see. But the thing I'm mainly talking about is not necessarily the 100mm macro, but a macro lens in general. That will definitely get you the best product photography that you can get. Now, there are a lot of macro lenses out there. I know Canon, for example, make a 35-1/8 macro. They also make an 85 f2 macro. And I think Sony has a 90mm macro. I would recommend having a macro lens that is more on the telephoto side rather than the wide side, mainly because when you're doing macro photography or product photography, you don't really want to warp images of a product. So that being said, I'm going to take you along about how I use this lens and why I love this lens so much as we shoot some product photography that I have set up right here. We have these really cool, awesome reminder coins from EDC Reminder Coins. I will link these guys below. They sent me these coins. This is not sponsored by them in any way. I just really think these are cool coins, and coins are such a great way to talk about product photography and to showcase how awesome a macro lens can be. So I'm gonna take you through the whole setup we have going on, and then we're gonna start shooting, and I'm gonna tell you why this lens will change your product photography forever. Don't know why I said it like that. All right, welcome to the mess that is product photography. Now, if you guys have been following this channel for a while, you have seen this desk. This desk is actually made out of reclaimed barn wood, and it's just like a coffee table, but the reason why I love this is because of that beautiful texture that you see in the desk. So that's why I absolutely love this. And I'm gonna kind of take you through what I have going on. So first, let me talk about the coins, and then I'll talk about why I arranged things the way I did. Okay, so we actually have 4 different coins, and I'm gonna show you each coin because that will make this make all sense. That didn't make sense. Showing you these coins will make all of this make sense. So the first one we have is this coin. This says, "What stands in the way becomes the way," Marcus Aurelius. And then it also has a quote on the back. "It is in the struggle that we discover our true potential, for what stays in the way shapes who we become." Beautiful coin. Honestly, these EDC Reminder coins have beautiful quotes on them. Check them out, really cool. This is another one, I believe this is Seneca? I don't know, some Roman dude I'm guessing. But sorry for all you history buffs, sorry. And this says, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And this is actually a very cool, true coin, so it's a good reminder to have. And the last one we have, and this has, on one side it says, "Everything you want is on the other side of fear." And then it also says, "Fear is an illusion." And then once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. which is really cool. And the last one, we have a nautical ship, and there is Latin, I believe, on one side, and I don't read Latin. But the other side, it says, it's not over when you lose, it's over when you quit. So these are all really beautiful messages, and the first 3 coins kind of go together in one category. The second one, I'm gonna shoot differently. Sorry, the fourth one I'm gonna shoot differently. The reason being is because these first 3 have very ancient Rome, philosopher type vibes to them because of the quotes that are on them. So when I talk about the props that I'm gonna be using, I'm gonna be talking about the textures, the items that I have that could necessarily transition to ancient Roman times to kind of fit the vibe that we're going after. This nautical one is gonna be the exact same thing, just the opposite way. I'm gonna be showing things like a compass or something that's related to an anchor or nautical themes because that's what this coin is about. Okay, now the reason you wanna do this is because you're trying to tell a story with the coins that you have, right? And when you're taking photos of a specific product, you need to show the product in the world that it comes from, right? So if I were to take a photo of this Harley Davidson lighter, I don't think I would put it with all of this antique stuff. I would put it next to a Harley Davidson with a motor and motor oil and, something that matches the aesthetic of this lighter. That being said, we're trying to tell a story. So we're gonna use these coins as the basis for the story that we are trying to tell. I'm gonna show you guys what I have going on here and the props I'm using to kind of see where we're going with this. All right, so let's start up over here. We have a cool nautical compass that I've had for a while, along with the case over there. And then we have a Pete's Pirate Life compass right there, along with some, rope that is very, I would say piratey. And then this is something really cool. This is actually a little cork. And then if we move down, you'll see a little candle thing. And basically the whole point of this is you're seeing a lot of textures. With the macro lens, we're gonna be zooming in quite a lot to these textures. So it doesn't necessarily have to show, the Pete's Pirate Life compass because that's not very ancient Romy, but if we angle it a certain way, we can kind of see those textures could be something that we could potentially find if we were studying ancient Rome and we came upon all this cool stuff. So, and then also this is resting on this cool little treasure chest. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby. It was on sale too, so all this stuff you can literally find. I mean, granted, the Pete's Pirate Life stuff is don't think you can find that anywhere else, but you can find most of this random stuff at, Walmart or Hobby Lobby or just random goods or Amazon. So let's start shooting. Okay, so I think the first one that I want to shoot is this nautical one. Now on one side it has a ship and on the other side you have an anchor. So that makes it really easy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this specifically in the nautical area and we're gonna try to shoot photos in that surrounding. So check this out. So we have a compass here and I'm actually gonna turn it this way now. And I really, really love the textures on this rope. So like right here, I think would be a cool place to, in a sense, set the coin so that we can have a little bit of foreground, but not enough to, block what the coin is actually trying to say. Now, because we have words, we don't want to block those words. We want to accentuate what is being said on the coin. Now, the trick is to get this to balance. So this is super interesting. If you can see right over there, we have the rope is casting a shadow on the actual coin. And I think that might actually look really cool. So I'm gonna take the macro lens and I'm gonna show you how I can finagle my way around the scene and get those shots that I'm looking for. Oh, and by the way, I have lighting my scene, the Amaran 200X with the Light Dome Mini. Now I chose the Light Dome Mini mainly because it was down here and I didn't want to set up the big one, but this will do very well. And remember, of course, the key to lighting is the bigger the light source and the closer it is to your subject, the softer the light is going to be. Now, because our subject is so small, I can get away with having the smaller light dome, but having it be really close to the subject, so that way it casts a very smooth, soft light on the subject. Now, if I wanted to, I could also add a grid to this light that would really focus the light onto the subject. But I don't want to do that. I don't feel like I need to. That's why I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be shooting all of this on the Canon R5 with a 100mm macro. This is my baby. This is exactly what I need, and this is all I'm going to use. So let's start shooting. I should probably put a card in the camera. All right, so the first shot. You guys have to remember that when you're shooting a product, especially with a macro lens, you really want to make sure that you are capturing the product in the finest detail. A lot of the times when you're working with companies and they want product shots, there are two different types of shots they want. They want the standard, really nice looking product shots that, in a sense, are very basic. You know, they want the coin very flat, all in focus, you know, very simple. And that's kind of where, you know, your top-down angles, stuff like that are gonna come really in handy, like these shots right here. But there are other times when, especially for social media, you can add a little bit more of that artsy flair to it. What I've decided to do is position it in ways that, you know, I don't necessarily see all of the coin. And this is how I do that. This 100mm macro has an extremely shallow depth of field, which is great. And you can focus very, very close to the lens. So the cool thing about a macro lens is usually when you're shooting a subject, you have a certain amount of distance between the lens and the subject to where it'll focus. Distancing focus on this lens is very close. So if I get real nice and close to this lens, it'll still be able to focus on the coin and capture all of the little details in the coin. Now, when you have a product like these coins, you see all of the little intricate details, and that's exactly what we're trying to get when we're photographing these coins. When it comes to something that has a lot of wording and stuff like that, that's when you're kind of challenged with two things. You can either, you know, take a photo of the whole coin and make sure everything is in focus, like all the words and stuff like that, or you can take a photo that shows the coin in a more artsy way that maybe just might peek at what you're trying to get at. Now, I like a lot of rustic tonality, especially with these things that I'm shooting at, but there are also a lot of other ways that you can get these really cool photos simply by playing with light. I can make a whole nother video on that with these coins if you guys want. So if you do, let me know in the comments below and I will get on that video. But for now, putting these coins in this little scene that we've built, we're going to be taking these photos with this lens. All right, so those are just a couple examples of what this 100mm macro can do. Now, if you guys are doing product photography, this thing will level up your product photography by just an enormous amount. I've gotten some of the best shots I've ever taken with this lens. And I can honestly say that this is one of my favorite lenses that I've ever had. I also want to say that this lens is not just for product photography. It's one of the most amazing portrait lenses. It's one of the most amazing landscape lenses. If you guys have never shot landscape with a telephoto lens, y'all are missing out. That's another video idea that I need to make. If you guys want to see that, comment down below. But anyways, I hope you guys saw some benefit to using a macro lens with your product photography. I hope you guys found some resources and learned something from this video. If you guys did, let me know what you guys think about using a macro lens. Do you guys have a macro lens? Which one do you have? And if you guys have any recommendations for some macro lenses that maybe I should check out, let me know. As always, I hope you guys got inspired from this video. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Remember, take it one step at a time, and I will see you all later. Peace.